What's up, YouTube? Big Dog here, back again for another edition of Big Dog Movie Reviews. Today, we're reviewing very much talked about film in terms of Oscars. That is Marriage Story with Adam Driver and Scarlett Johansson. Watched it, as I do all these movies. There are some semi-spoilers ahead. Semi-spoilers? I mean, in a movie like this, I can't imagine any actual spoilers. But plot lines are given away within this review, so if you haven't seen it yet and you really want to, I would hold off if I were you. Wait till after you see the video. Wait till after you watch the movie to watch this video on Marriage Story. But until then, if you're watching that, I will do the likes, the dislikes, final score, final comments as always. Got the trio in the back there. Let's get into it. Likes. The opening scene was an extremely powerful scene. It's Adam and Scarlett reading things they love about each other. That's how it opens. It was just an amazing opening to the movie, a very powerful part of the movie, and it shows just kind of how much these two cared about each other. And then when Scarlett was telling her lawyer about her side of the story and why she wanted a divorce, it was a very intense and powerful scene as well. I think it just is kind of good way to start the development of her and her lawyer's relationship, because you can get the sense throughout the film that these two are more than just, obviously they meet because of Scarlett hiring her to be her lawyer, but you get the sense that these two connect on another level, they could be friends after this film rather than just split off other ways. Laura Dern did an amazing job. I thought she did a really good job of just playing the lawyer. Scarlett Johansson, amazing. And it was just a very interesting relationship to watch develop on the film, especially in that scene. And then the same thing with Adam Driver and his lawyer. Adam actually goes to a couple lawyers. The first guy is very bold and brash and kind of tells him the way it is with no remorse, whether that's the way Adam likes it or not. And it's kind of the lawyer's show. But he charges a little more than what Adam is willing to pay. So then Adam finds another lawyer, Bert, played by Alan Alda. And low-key, Bert was my favorite character in the film. He was so calm and compassionate. You could tell he very much cared for Adam. They made it a point for Bert to tell his story to Adam and why he's a divorce lawyer, and I thought that was just a very interesting aspect, and it really helped you connect to Bert as well as Adam. Although those two, Adam and Bert's characters, may not be friends after the film, you still get the sense that Bert genuinely cared for Charlie, who's Adam's character. And it was just, like I said, I loved Bert in the film. I thought he was an amazing character. Charlie slowly discovering how brutal his wife is. So when the movie starts, Charlie and Nicole, who is Scarlett's character, they make it a point to make it clear that these two don't want lawyers involved. They just want to do it on their own. They want to be very fair about it with each other, things of that nature. But then Nicole is convinced to get a lawyer, and kind of shit hits the fan at that point. Things really start unwinding. And I thought it was very interesting to see, because Nicole's lawyer kept calling Charlie, and he's sitting there, and he's doesn't believe anything she's saying about how Nicole this, Nicole that, and how mean she was being. And I thought it was really interesting to see Charlie slowly discover that. He's wow, she's really kicking my shit in. She's really, I thought we weren't going to do it this way. And it was really interesting to see Charlie discover that. I thought that was a very interesting aspect of the film. And he was just trying to be nice about it, and couples aren't always on the same page. I thought that was really interesting. Whereas she was being really ruthless, and he's just trying to be the nice guy. And one thing I also liked is how they show little elements that they still care about each other. One example in particular was, this is well into the film. At one point, they very early in the film, they make it a point for you to know that Nicole cuts Charlie's hair when they're married, and it's just, and then at one point, Charlie talking to her about how he's got to find a barber, and she offers to cut it for him again. She offers to cut his hair for him right then and there, and this was like well into the movie, well after the divorce process was started. So I think things like that are really interesting. It shows that the characters still very much care about each other, and it's like, they don't want to get a divorce, but it's like for their happiness it's necessary. I just think that's very interesting. I thought that's a very subtle but interesting part of the film. There's a long story short, Charlie gets a screaming match, and he gets an apartment in LA, which is where majority of the film takes place, and Charlie and Nicole get in a screaming match in Charlie's apartment. Not only is it the best scene in this particular film, but possibly the best scene I've ever seen in any film. It was extremely well done, extremely emotional scene, and it's very powerful. And it was just, I was so invested into the scene that it was so intense and so interesting watching it unfold, and I was just feeling for the characters on both sides. My emotions into the scene were very much right in the room with these two. And I thought that was just an amazing scene. And I would not have changed anything about that scene. Not even I wouldn't even move Charlie an inch to the left or an inch to the right or vice versa, or things like tiny things like that. Nothing in that scene should ever change. And it was just an amazing thing to watch. And along those lines, kind of, although this film has the best scene, it's also got the best acting I've ever seen. Every single person in this film killed their role, with Adam and Scarlett in particularly, more so on Adam Driver. I feel like just home run grand slam to the moon and back. Ball bounces off the moon, comes back, they hit it again off into space. It was just such an amazing acting job. They both should get Oscars, whether they're whether one's a supporting or one's the main, or they're both main actors and actresses for the categories for the Oscars. I don't care what category they're in. If it involves their acting from this film, Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver need to win. I will stand by that. It was impeccable, absolutely impeccable. And it was just a beautifully simple film. You guys know me, I'm always a big fan of movie soundtracks. But I don't even remember, pretty much hearing a song in this film. And as I've said before, the lack of song is almost just as important as choosing the right one. And I think very little soundtrack worked very well to this film, as well as the simple camera work. It was just you could tell it was just someone... they'd probably, I'm sure they did, but it was almost like they didn't have any super expensive camera gear, no gyro stabilized, blah, 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 blah. It was just very simple camera work, which I adored, and a very simple story, just a man and a woman getting a divorce, and it was just an amazing film, and I really enjoyed every minute of it. I thoroughly enjoyed, and like I said, I have right here, just beautiful simplicity is what this film is. A lot of likes, that's for sure. But now onto the dislikes. There are two. There's a scene where Charlie sings in a bar. Don't really know the need of it. If there's I don't like wasted scenes in films. I like every scene to have a meaning, and I couldn't see the meaning behind this. Excuse me. And I also don't... and there's also a scene where Charlie cut his arm, and it was pretty bloody and kind of graphic. Excuse me again. But I didn't think I don't know why how this worked into the film. I don't think there was a need for Charlie to cut his arm like this. I just thought it was kind of unnecessary. But yeah, that's really the only two dislikes I have. Was Charlie singing in the bar and Charlie cutting his arm. I just didn't think either of those were necessary. So a rather good film. And with all that being said, I think Marriage Story deserves an 8 out of 10. It was a pretty amazing film, and I do keep a running list of my top 10 films for the year, and Marriage Story falls in at the number 9 spot. It's the best acting this year, no questions asked, possibly the best acting in film history, and it is a must-see on the year, I would say. Yeah, it's just an amazing film, Marriage Story. It's on Netflix. Anyone with Netflix can watch it. So I very much urge you to watch this if you have the time. Otherwise, make time, and you won't regret it. So Marriage Story, 8 out of 10. That's a review. It's going in the book. As always, smash that like button. Bam, bam, smash, smash. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the film. If you thought it was better than an 8 out of 10, if you thought it was worse, please let me know. I like to know other people's thoughts. And as always, you subscribe to the channel. I do movie reviews. I keep movies reviews flowing. I love film. I love talking about film. I love watching films. So this is just me showing my passion to the internet. And as always, if you're looking to get a little more involved with the channel, do follow the corresponding Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd accounts. The username for all three of those is @BigDogMR79. As always, I'll put it in writing at the end of the video. Until then, that's all I really got to say. I'll see you guys later, and as always, change the world.